Hello again. By any objective measure, there is infinitely less racism in both Britain and the United States than was once the case. In my lifetime, I've watched how we moved from segregation in the United States to having a black president, and in this country, from signs saying room to let, sorry, no colours, to the present situation where in law and in practice, in day-to-day life, there are no obstacles to black people achieving whatever they set their minds to. Paradoxically, though, racism is now talked about far more than it ever was in the past. It is sought out, advertised, people are accused of it at such a frantic rate that one is put in mind of the McCarthy era in America when communists were being hunted and allegedly found all over the place. Racism is a bigger thing now than it ever was in the past, despite actually having dwindled away in Western countries to practically zero. What can explain this strange situation whereby something which has become exceedingly rare is now spoken of as though it were a major problem in society? The answer is, of course, that an entire industry relies upon a steady supply of racism in order to flourish. In Britain, groups like Hope Not Hate or the Runnymede Trust would be lost without a good supply of racism. If it does not exist, then it must be manufactured. Booker T. Washington, a black American who was born into slavery in the southern USA before the American Civil War, recognized this phenomenon over 100 years ago. In a book of his, published in 1911, he said, "There is a class of colored people who make a business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public. Having learnt that they are able to make a living out of their troubles, they've grown into the settled habit of advertising their wrongs, partly because they want sympathy and partly because it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose his grievances because they don't want to lose their jobs." In the description to this video, I give a link to an online copy of this book of his, My Larger Education, being chapters from my experience. In 1911, 3 years before the start of the First World War, Booker T. Washington identified an awful trend which we are still seeing going strong to this day.